Welcome to Esoteric Recaps. 5 former college roommates, Phil, Dom, Hutch, Luke, and Rob, get together for drinks in a pub and arrange a vacation to catch up with one another. Rob offers going on a hike in Sweden, but the others promptly reject his idea. The gang leaves the pub later that night and walks by a store. Luke wants to make a stop and get a bottle of vodka, and Rob goes with him to do so. They notice the upset cashier leaned against the wall behind the counter as they are talking in the store. Rob freezes in terror as 2 armed thieves appear from the back room, and Luke disappears behind a shelf at the end of the aisle. Rob gets provoked by the robbers, who demand his wallet, watch, and ring. Rob freely gives up the first 2, but he will not give them his ring because it is his wedding band. Luke flicks the bottle in his hand while remaining hidden from view and gets ready to go in. He reacts too slowly, and Rob is bludgeoned to death right in front of him. 6 months after Rob's passing, the 4 decide to hike the Kungsleden, or King's Trail, in Sarek National Park in northern Sweden, as per his request. Hutch studies the map when Dom slips and hurts his knee, making it difficult for him to walk, and determines that a detour through a forest off the trail will cut down on their travel time. When the gang first enters the forest, they see weird occurrences like an elk that has been gutted hanging from tree branches and bizarre markings engraved on the trees. The men become soaked by a violent downpour as night falls. They find an abandoned cabin while searching for shelter and decide to break in and spend the night. They discover necklaces hanging from the walls inside the cottage that feature images like the runes engraved in the tree. Phil stumbles upon a bizarre wooden effigy that resembles a beheaded human torso, with antlers for hands while exploring the cabin. The 4 experience nightmares all night long. The following morning, Luke discovers that he has a series of odd puncture wounds on his chest. Phil is discovered by the group in the attic, naked and praying in front of the effigy. The gang departs the cabin to continue their journey deeper into the woods in search of a way out. Luke notices a human-like hand wrapped around the trunk of a faraway tree while climbing a ridge to get perspective on their location. Dom is skeptical of his report as he attempts to discuss it with the group. Dom then says that he blames Luke for Rob's death and labels Luke a coward for failing to act during the crime. Screams awaken Luke from another nightmare later that night. When they discover Hutch's tent is vacant, they hurry deeper into the woods, following Hutch's screaming. By daybreak, they find they have been disoriented and have forgotten where they camped. They make the decision to continue their quest without tents or supplies. The group recovers Hutch's body in order to retrieve his compass and knife, and then gives him an informal burial by wrapping his body in tree branches. Luke abandons Phil and Dom on the lower part of a ridge and climbs a height that offers a panoramic view of the entire woodland. He notices that they are near the edge of the forest and notices smoke rising from distant campfires. He returns to the 2 to inform them of the news, but finds them with their flashlights directed at the trees. Phil is abruptly taken off screen by an unseen entity. When Luke is looking for a hiding place, he runs into Dom and convinces him to join him. They rise to their feet and start running, the thing chasing them. They come across Phil's body, impaled on the branches of a tree near a torched path leading to a little village. They seek refuge in the first structure they come across and collapse on the cabin floor, only to be pummeled unconscious by its occupants. When they awaken, they are chained in a cellar by their hands. An old woman enters the basement and examines Luke's chest puncture marks. She yanks her dress down to show a similar pattern on her chest. She turns to exit the cellar and utters a command in a foreign language, prompting 2 men to grab Dom and carry him to the cabin's upper floor. A younger woman enters the basement and announces that sacrificial preparations are underway. Dom is led back to the basement sometime later, bruised and bloodied, but still alive. He informs Luke that he will be a human sacrifice to the creature. Dom is led outside and led to a wooden post, where his wrists are bound behind his back. A roar may be heard from the forest as the day turns to night. The kidnappers immediately fall to their knees in prayer. Dom sees his wife emerge from the trees, holding his face in her hands. This is the thing that has been following the men, and it resembles the wooden effigy they discovered in the abandoned cottage. Dom is yanked from the post and impaled on the branches of a nearby tree, where he dies. Desperate to escape, Luke breaks one of his shackles by breaking his thumb, but he is unable to release the second before the young woman's unexpected entrance. When Luke inquires about the monster, she says that it is a joden, a godlike figure from Scandinavian mythology, and that people offer sacrifices to it in exchange for immortality. She claims that Luke will either succumb to the beast and join the cult, or he will be killed. Luke gets free from his bindings and exits the basement after she left. He goes to the cabin's upper floor after hearing prayers and shouting from behind a closed door. Armed with a flaming torch, he unlocks the door to reveal a twisted congregation of mummified but still living humans, the end result of their worship of the creature's immortality. Dom's final request is fulfilled when he sets fire to the devotees. This act draws the attention of the joden, who emerges from the forest to see the cabin on fire. In a fit of wrath, the beast slaughters the surviving devotees. Luke takes use of this opportunity to flee the burning hut unobserved, armed with a rifle and an axe. Luke aims and fires at the creature as it is ready to kill a worshipper before fleeing into the woods. The thing chases him down, aiming to paralyze his mind by inducing hallucinations of his reoccurring nightmare. The beast soon finds him and pulls him to his knees several times, giving Luke the opportunity to submit. He strikes the beast on the head with an axe he had previously stolen from one of the worshippers. He then follows the sunshine out of the trees and into an open area. The creature does not emerge from the tree line because it appears incapable of following. The beast roars at him and he screams triumphantly back. Luke moves away from the monster and toward a paved road with a passing automobile.